Strong defense. So the JoyNews documentary on the training of party militias at the Christiansborg Castle, Osu, which until 2013 was a seat of government. The documentary, which was premiered here on the JoyNews channel just about 24 hours ago, showed the activities of the DI group, including the training of its recruits. We bring you excerpts of the documentary, Militia in the Heart of the Nation, produced by Manasseh Azariawani.
JoyNews sources within the group say the National Security Ministry is aware about the operations of the group at the castle. Sources within the I group told JoyNews the National Security Operations Director, Colonel Michael Opoku, had attempted to stop the group from operating from the castle on a number of occasions, but failed. At one of the meetings in 2018, Nana Rekon Addo told members of the group that the National Security Secretariat had tried to undermine the group and had often sent spies to find fault with their operations at the Osu Castle. A research conducted as part of this investigation reveals this group existed before Akufo-Addo won power. In June 2012, a daily guide publication headlined "Vigilante Group Vows to Protect Ballot" said the I group had been formed by Choman, Nana Akufo-Addo's bodyguard. The story said, and I quote, "The I Vigilante Group is made up of energetic men and female MPP members across the country whose primary target is to protect MPP members against any attacks by lawless people." End of quote. 2018, the chief of staff of the group, Fraser Oreku-Keja, told TV3 in an interview that the group had a membership of over 5,000 youth.
The I group is all over the 10 regions of this country, and we over 5,000 members incredibly every day. You understand? And the I group is made up of youth of this country that believes in the ideas and the policies of Nana Addo Dankwa's government.
Leaders of the group say they facilitated the drafting of members of the group into the security agencies and helped them get jobs.
Overall,
Now, there have been a number of reactions following the airing of the documentary. Former President John Mahama took to Twitter early on Friday. Says, watched a harrowing expose of how the Osu Castle until 2013, the office of the president, now used as an annex, has become the headquarters and training camp of a private militia wing of the MPP and Nana Akufo-Addo. Clearly, this administration has produced enough paint to paint the whole nation black. Now, the minority in parliament, made up mainly of the opposition NDC, has also been reacting. At a news conference in Parliament, the MPs called for the resignation of President Akufo-Addo.
Insist that Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo must resign as President of the Republic with immediate effect. Yeah. The President has lost every moral authority to continue to occupy that high office after having been caught in flagrante delicto, that is red-handed. 2, we call on the Inspector General of Police to immediately, that is before close of day, carry out a swoop and arrest the leaders and members of the I group, the militia. It is obvious that the group has flagrantly violated numerous laws, including but not limited to Article 85, 200 sub 2, and 210 sub 2 of the Constitution of Ghana, and Police Service Act 1970 at 350. 3, that an investigation be opened into how a facility owned and managed by the state, the Osu Castle, become a safe haven for an MPP militia. 4, that the state should take urgent steps to reclaim the offices and other state properties in the possession of the leaders of the I group militia as a matter of prime importance. 5, that government should immediately discontinue the training of MPP militia groups in facilities owned by the states across the country.
Well, the majority in Parliament has supported the minority's call for the arrest and prosecution of members of the militia group who train at the castle. Deputy Majority Chief Whip Matthew Nyindam, however, downplayed suggestions they had the backing of the president. Well, government has, however, expressed its disappointment with JoyNews' latest investigative documentary, which details the existence of a private militia trained at the Christiansburg Castle. Manasseh Zuriawuni, he spent months monitoring the activities of the DI group, and he reports they operate from the castle and go there in their hundreds. But addressing the media in Accra on Friday, Information Minister Kojo Oppong-Nkrumah said the individuals had been evicted since October.
Government is of the view that this is most unprofessional and very misleading, and we can only urge the producer and JoyNews to avoid such misrepresentations in the future. The narrative put on the advertisement, to all intents and purposes, is not supported even by their own footage that they aired. Secondly, though the documentary rightly states that the national security apparatus has made efforts to close down the office of that organization at the Christiansburg Castle, it deliberately failed to highlight the fact that the office had been closed down by national security since October 2018. Indeed, as has been rightly indicated, there's no militia or vigilante group operating from the Christiansburg Castle. This is an important fact which government believes had to be stated to their viewers and their listeners, but was deliberately somehow omitted. This organization, or this company known as the I Group, initially succeeded in using the garden grounds of the Castle Osu for its activities because its promoter, one Nana Rekwado, had been assigned an office there to work with a task force to retrieve landed property and vehicles in the possession of officials of the Eswa Mahama administration. After the conclusion of the work of the task force in August 2018, he subsequently converted the office allocated to him into a private business office for the stated purposes of his company. Admittedly, this should not have been allowed to happen in the first place. But it was quickly dealt with in October 2018 when he was evicted from the premises by a joint operation involving personnel of the National Security Secretariat and the Ghana Police Service. We wish to reiterate that contrary to attempts to suggest that Nana Rekwado is currently associated with President Akufo-Addo, that is not the case. He is not currently presently associated with President Akufo-Addo. Indeed, Nana Rekwado left the employ of President Akufo-Addo in 2010, at a time when he was not even presidential candidate of the New Patriotic Party. And we believe that any simple check would have revealed this and ensured an avoidance of the attempt to link his organization's activities to the president. Thirdly,
all right, so I have with me right now in the studio Manasseh Azuri-Awuni, who produced the documentary, The Militia in the Heart of the Nation, and head of our political desk, Evans Mensah. Thank you very much, the two of you, for joining me in the studio. Now, we have heard the responses that government has issued, or the reaction that's come from government regarding the documentary that we published or we aired yesterday. Now, let's go through we're going to go through the responses as given by the reactions as given by the presidency or by government, and then I'm going to have my colleagues Manasseh and Evans. They're going to get the official reaction of JoyNews to that. So it says from JoyNews' own documentary, it is clear that the company involved is involved in helping unemployed young men and women find jobs and operates a website that openly states the objectives. Again, in the documentary, officials of the company claim that they are in the business of helping people to find jobs and encourage the persons who sign up for their services to avoid engaging themselves in acts that breach the laws of the country. Now, what is the reaction to this coming from the government?
Well, if you look at what this group is made up, we try to go beyond what we found and filmed, and that is they undertaking military drills. And if you watch, you find them marching and they're taking some drills. We also have some names that are used. For instance, their head is called Commander. The next in command is called the Chief of Staff, and all of that. So it is security in nature. Their website also talks about the fact that they provide security services. Our checks from the Interior Ministry indicates that they are not licensed to provide any such security service. And the lawyer we spoke to as part of this documentary said that is actually an offense. Beyond that, we also tried to look at a bit of a background of this group, that's the I group. And in 2018, there was a discussion on vigilante groups, and they were asked what kind of vigilante group they are. And Fraser Keja, their Chief of Staff, provided this response on TV3. He said the I group is all over the 10 regions of Ghana, and they have 5,000 members. That is increasing every day. And he went on to say that the I group is made up of youth of this country that believe in the ideas and policies of Nana Addo Akufo-Addo. I'm quoting directly from what he's saying. So
which we played a show a while ago.
Yes, that points to an MPP group. Beyond that, in 2012, there was a daily guide publication of this group's activity in Kumasi, and this daily guide report back in 2012, when I didn't even know about them, said, formed in 2009, the I Vigilante group is made up of energetic male and female members of the MPP across the country, whose primary target is to protect the MPP members against any attacks by lawless groups. And then the leader of this group is the former bodyguard of President Nana Akufo-Addo. So to say that these are people who go to search for jobs, and it does not really tally with the information we presented and what we also gathered as part of this investigation.
Just a quick one on the first paragraph you read, where it says that in the documentary, the company claimed that they are just in the business of helping people find jobs, and that they encourage the persons who sign up for the services to avoid engaging themselves in acts that breach the laws of the country. This is almost justifying the work that they do. However, what that statement doesn't tell you is that in the Manasseh's documentary you hear that they encourage them to avoid themselves in breach of laws. The commander of the group admits that in fact the members of the group commit crime, and that is what you're not told in the government statement. So it's not only that they encourage them not to breach the laws, that they themselves admit that they commit crime.
And in fact, on in one of their trainings, that's a Monday, one of the trainers actually started by congratulating them, and his reason was that, well, this weekend we did not encounter any arrest of any of our members by the police. So if you are leading a group and on a particular weekend you are celebrating because no member of the group was arrested by the police, then it goes to say that, well, criminal activities and arrests are a common feature, for which reason you would have to celebrate when on a particular weekend. somebody. Yes, so the government trying to whitewash everything. Speaking to some persons, even within the group, we got the impression that all is not well.
All right. Now, one other issue that government takes up is an advertisement, a teaser that had been put out, a poster, a creative that had been put out, and they're saying that we suggested the undertaking of a fearsome training exercise by these young men and women and backed it up with photos of masked men wielding assault rifles, and that the documentary itself failed to show any of such training activities taking place, and they're describing this as unprofessional on our part.
When you look at the promo that went out, we did a television promo, and it doesn't have what the government is saying. I think online did a story and used a library photo of some militias, so that's what it's talking about. But the promo we did not bring any foreign material. What was seen in the documentary is what we showed in the promo or the advertisement. So it is just a matter of holding on to something that is not so relevant to the content of the documentary.
Now it says, though the documentary also rightly states that the national security apparatus has made efforts to close down the office of the company at the Christiansborg Castle, it deliberately failed to highlight the fact that the office had been closed down by national security since October 2018. Essentially, they're saying that this national security, this group had been closed down, the operations had been closed down since October 2018.
Well, the government got this very fact very wrong. It is false to say that this group was closed down and they did not operate at the castle from October 2018. In fact, our last shooting or filming of their activities at the Osu Castle or the Christiansborg Castle was on the 21st of December 2018. And on that particular day, they actually had a get-together because it was the last meeting of the group for that the year. So they had a get-together where hundreds of people came and there was loud music. So it is not true. We also would want to also challenge the government that on the 7th of December 2018, the MPP held a program at the Accra International Conference Center to celebrate the legacy of Dombo. And in that program, these people were those who provided security right at the entrance of directing traffic up to the main hall of the conference center. They were everywhere, and we have videos of that in the documentary. On that particular day, we started filming from the Osu Castle up to the conference center uninterrupted. So if the government wants any evidence of that, we can provide the raw and edited visuals. We filmed from the beginning till the end of this
So right now on TV, we have footage of that event at the Accra International Conference
Accra International Conference Center. It was attended by the president, former President John Ajay Kufuor, the vice president and his wife. We also had almost all the people who matter in the MPP at this function. And then we had this group, the I group, providing security. There were advantage points, and we managed to film them. And as part of this, you would see in one of their points or the government's responses, one of them, that we did not show any evidence of these people providing security. But if you watch the video, you would realize that we actually showed pictures of them. So you can see them. These are the I group. They were providing security. This is one of them over there. You can also see another person. So it appears these are all members of the I group who were providing security at the conference center. You can see some of them over there at the entrance. And this is where we started filming right from the castle on that day. We're in the car as they were moving to the conference center. And this is where they were entering the Accra International Conference Center on the 7th of December 2018. So if the government is telling us that by October 2018, the people were not there, this is just evidence that the government is not telling the truth about when they were taken out of the place.
Now, another factor they raise is that thirdly, it is important to state that for the record, that the castle also is not a security zone.
No,
Neither
is it. Before we get there, Israel, I think there's one fundamental paragraph that really puts it in better perspective, which is the last paragraph on that page, which is the government admitting that they know the DI group. And this is important, and I want to read that. It says, the I Group initially succeeded in using the guarding grounds of the castle, Osu, for its activities because its promoter, one Nana Reku Ado, had been assigned an office there to work with the task force to retrieve landed properties and vehicles in the possession of officials of the ex-Wa Mahama administration. After the conclusion of the work of the task force in August 2018, he subsequently converted the office allocated to him into a private business office for the stated purposes of his company. Admittedly, this should not have been allowed to happen in the first place, but was quickly dealt with in October 2018 when he was evicted from the premises by a joint operation involving personnel of national security and the police. A few things for me here. One, the group, this is the first time government admits that one, we know of the group.
We know that
we also knew that they operated from the castle, and that we know it was wrong for that to happen, and yet, but we dealt with it quickly. Manasseh has told you that it's not true that they were evicted in October, because as of December, 2 months after October, he was still undercover filming. Secondly, there's a contradiction there that you also see. In Manasseh's report that we watched, he quotes the communications director of the presidency, who sent him a message saying the president is not aware of this. He's checked with national security, and there's nothing that exists called the I Group. This clearly is a contradiction of that. The government now says we know the group, we know they operated. Thirdly, before this paragraph, government had said quite emphatically that this group's job is only to provide jobs for people, and that they do this by actually trying to also get them to avoid crime. However, if you read the thing, and I wonder, it took national security and police to evict them, and I'm wondering if their job is to just to provide jobs for people.
Why was it so difficult?
Why would you need a combined team of national security and police? The final point on this.
We have to break in because we have a program that First Lady is speaking at an event, and we have to take that. Okay. So we will go to that event and take the First Lady's speech and then come back.
The executive leadership of Barclays Bank of Ghana is balanced with 50% women and 50% men. Well done, Barclays. So what can we do? Government, civil society, and businesses must set standards for more balance in our business environment. We must empower female entrepreneurs with training and resources, as well as the social support if we have to do better. The women pioneers, the shakers and movers in our corporate and business space must share principles and best practices on what works. To balance for better, we must continue to develop male leaders as advocates and allies for their female counterparts. By sharing the strong business case for empowering women, we must build support networks for women, establish mentoring initiatives, enroll high potential women in leadership development initiatives, and align sponsors with them. For those of us in positions of privilege, here's the deal. You can only enjoy the benefits of your privilege when others around you also enjoy some of those privileges. Whether a teacher, trader, or CEO, our challenges are woven together. So are our successes. So let's speak for balance in entrepreneurship and the business environment. Let's speak against imbalance. Let's demand for spaces. Let's identify the spaces, and let's be bold to occupy the spaces and give hands up to other women. We need everyone. During the International Women's Day celebration last year, I pledged to support girls to stay in school, go back to school, or provide employable skills to those unable to go back to school. Subsequently, in December 2018, in partnership with the UNFPA, I launched the Because I Want to Be initiative to do just that. I am happy to announce that on Thursday, the 7th of March, I met with a group of remarkable women who are here tonight, who are partnering me to provide skills, training, and mentorship to some young ladies from the Accra municipality. We have to start in Accra because I'm an Accra woman. We also have other mentors for in-school girls who will ensure our girls are focused, and inspired to unleash their greatness. Mentorship is important to personal development. For many young girls, it is the difference between succeeding and being left behind. I do not want to leave any of our girls behind. Today, we will be introducing these mentors to you. In the coming months, we shall be expanding this program to other communities. I am grateful for the help we're getting for our girls, and I urge those who may not be part of this to join in by taking on and helping girls achieve their very best. It is also my pleasure to let you know that with a group of market women and street vendors, I met with a group of market women and street vendors on Monday, the 4th of March, as part of my Women's Economic Empowerment Initiative, Terema. At that meeting, we discussed issues related to their health, businesses, and family. The Rebecca Foundation responded by giving some of them resources to improve their businesses. The point is, when we advance the cause of women, we advance the cause of families, societies, nations, and the world. The Rebecca Foundation will continue to support Ghanaian women. As we support each other and make a living for ourselves, let us be mindful of our environment. I grew up in an era of plantain leaves, ceramic cups, and glass bottles. Recently, I looked around my home and realized how much plastics have become part of our lives. But these plastics harm our environment. One of the simplest things we can do as women to support our environment is to use reusable shopping bags. This will drastically cut down the amount of plastic we use. So today, the Rebecca Foundation would be distributing some reusable shopping bags to you. Let's save our environment. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, today is a special day. We are not only here to commemorate the day, we are also here to recognize and celebrate the contribution of a number of amazing Ghanaian women in the areas of education, health, social entrepreneurship, agriculture, advocacy and inclusion, arts and culture, innovation, and outstanding leadership. The stories of these women calls to optimism within us. As you know, optimism is not a passive notion. It allows us to do better, to climb higher, to push harder, and to believe not just in ourselves, but in others. As we celebrate these women, let's remember a simple truth. We can find inspiration in our abilities and in the stories of other women. The time has come when we must recognize that balance is desirable. Balance is vital. Balance is humanity's cry for greatness. On February 5th, 2019, Pope Francis, remarking on the second-class status of women with regards to sexual abuse of nuns by clergymen, said, and I quote, "I dare say that humanity has not matured." Let me borrow his words and say, I dare say humanity has not matured if we cannot ensure gender balance. Thank you and enjoy the evening.
All right, so there was First Lady Rebecca Akufo-Addo addressing an event there to mark International Women's Day. We're back in the studio, and I still have with me Evans Mensah, head of our political desk, and JoyNews Manasseh Azuriah-Wuni, who produced the documentary, The Militia in the Heart of the Nation. And so we're just going through the statement that government put out, government's reaction to the documentary, and we had gone through a number of things. One of the things we'll also want to look at is in the statement, they say, we wish to reiterate that contrary to your attempts, Nana Reku-Addo is currently not associated with President Akufo-Addo. Indeed, Nana Reku-Addo left the employ of President Akufo-Addo in 2010 at a time when he was not even presidential candidate of the New Patriotic Party. A simple check would have revealed this and ensured an avoidance of the attempt to link his organization's activities to the president. Evans, I'll come to you. First of all, give us the background to who this Nana Reku-Addo is.
Well, Nana Reku-Addo, from the report that Manasseh filed, and this is important. If you listen to the report that Manasseh filed, nowhere in the report did Manasseh even attempt to use their statements claim that this Nana Akufo-Addo is currently associated with the president. If Manasseh used the appropriate description, there's a former, and there's no dispute, Manasseh, is there? A dispute that this man was a former, personal bodyguard of the president. Is that no doubt?
It is a stated fact, and everybody knows. In fact, he once told the group that he, Nana Akufo-Addo, they were calling him Nanado. And because he was so close to the president, he could not also be called Nanado, so they had to rely on his nickname, Choman. So that's how he became more popular with Choman than Nanado. So we stated that he is a former bodyguard, personal bodyguard of the president. We never anywhere said he still is the bodyguard of the president.
All right, but to end it all, how do you find the reaction of people of the political class, especially, to what has the documentary and some of the work that we have done, or JoyNews has done in the last few months and even years?
I think the reaction is very expected. It's you can always, in fact, if you like, I can write a template right now and store it. If this government is voted out of power, whenever that happens, a story will come definitely that exposes whichever government comes next, and the template will fit exactly. When Manasseh did the Ford Gate scandal on John Mahama, that gift that was given to him by this contractor, the government then of the day, NDC government, same reaction. They condemned us. They wrote, they called us names. Then the MPP that were in the opposition then took that story. They congratulated us. And they went to town with it. They did their own press conferences and made calls for the president to change the script. Same script, different government, different party. Now, the NDC is in opposition. They are holding press conferences, thanking Manasseh and praising him and praising us and making same calls for the president to resign, to investigate, blah, blah, blah. The MPP that benefited from the Ford Gate, they are the receiving end of this great work, holding press conferences and issuing statements trying to discredit the work. So this is what politicians do, and I would have been surprised if government didn't issue a statement. They could not do anything else than issue a statement. But the thing about such great works is that there's no way you can provide an adequate response to it, and so they were forced to admit that yes, wrongs did happen, but there were misrepresentations. So I appreciate what government had done, but it's what politicians are supposed to do. But the reason why this is important, the reason why we do this on a daily basis, is because the Constitution in Chapter 12 gave us the mandate to hold government accountable to the people. And we hope that in this expose, we'll get government to deal with the problem. And they've indicated that something has happened in terms of dealing with the problem. We are just helping the president's own cause in fixing the vigilante problem, and that we don't want a situation where we are all spending our energies to do a campaign. Meanwhile, in private, something else is happening that is breeding mistrust among the parties, and it's not moving the process forward.
All right, Manasseh, your brief comments, your final comments in 30 seconds.
Well, Israel, when we bring information of this nature out, we give them the facts, and we expect our audience who are discerning to be able to make meaning out of these facts. And the main reason we went into this is the fact that the group was operating from a sensitive state institution or edifice such as the castle. So the government has provided its responses. We have tried to, with facts, tell how inaccurate that response is, and we hope our audience would help make meaning out of all of these issues and facts we have put out there.
All right, thank you very much. And that was Manasseh Azura-Wune. Manasseh Azura-Wune is the producer of that documentary, and Evans Mensah is the head of the political desk here at JoyNews. We're taking a break here on JoyNews Prime. We're bringing you the business news story. We're bringing it to you a lot later than usual, but Sandra Fenu is standing by with the business news. Stay tuned in. Right, so this is where we part ways with our viewers on Joy Prime, but there's more news on the Joy News channel. And coming up, a victim of a Yawaso West Wuogon by-election violence, currently unable to get back on his feet following the injuries he sustained, has made a passionate plea for justice to the Short Commission.
Please, I want justice must be done. I want justice must be done.
The National Security Operative who also hit the Ningo Pram MP Sam George has also apologized.
I was guilty at what I did. I regretted what I did. My Lord, whenever you err or you offend somebody, whatever you say, you need to say is, I'm sorry, I won't do that again.
We have that and then showbiz. Stay tuned in. The victim of the violence that marred the Ayawaso West Wuogon by-election is urging the Justice Short Commission to make recommendations for the member of the SWAT team who shot him to be sanctioned. Ishao Yaro currently moves in a wheelchair and has been spending weeks at the 37 Military Hospital as doctors continue to make stringent efforts to get him to walk once again. The Short Commission on Friday ended its public hearing with the testimony of Ishao Yaro from the hospital. The commission also heard from a final batch of witnesses, including the National Security Operative who hit Ningo Pram MP Sam George during the chaos on election day. There's more in the following report.
Somebody is over there now enjoying. He just shoot me. He wanted to shoot my life. I have a family, wife and children. Now business, anything is not going on. How should I go to look my family now? Once this committee is for justice, please, I want justice must be done.
Ishao Yaro, who introduced himself to the commission as a professional footballer, mustered up courage to speak the language he had opted not to testify in, to make an appeal to the commission. In one of the many viral videos depicting the violence on election day, Yaro is seen in pain as he is placed in the bucket of a vehicle, bleeding profusely. It was simply impossible for him to make it to the Christianborg Castle where the commission has been sitting, forcing the commission to instead relocate. He told the commission he had gone to observe the election for the opposition NDC when the masked men asked that he moves from where he was standing.
So far, Buga, but no one is shooting.
My Lord, as I told this commission earlier on, these people were advancing towards the parliamentary candidate's house or the entrance and met other people standing in front of the entrance. And some argument ensued between them, not quite long. Then I heard some gunshots. My Lord, before they were firing upwards, warning shots. But later,
direct.
They were firing direct.
Direct.
Into the crowd.
Yes, direct.
Doctors who have been spending days attending to Mr. Yaro say they will need at least 3 months as they attempt to ensure he's able to use his right leg once again.
If it was a shotgun, we would have had more pellets. But with a high velocity, like a rifle, which has the projectile, that causes a lot of damage, typical form of damage, a lot of cavitation. If it hits bone, there's bone shattering. It takes away avulsion, it takes away a lot of the tissue. And it didn't have an exit wound. It's still embedded in his leg.
So, a gun like an AK-47?
Possibly.
Ningo Pram MP Sam George had been captured in another viral video being hit by a member of the SWAT team. National Security Operative Mohammed Suleimana, who appeared before the commission, identified himself as the individual striking the MP. He offered an explanation.
So then, if I understood you, you're saying that the honorable gentleman insulted you and that is why you got off the car. Am I right?
Ni abor my Lord, that is why I came down to to knock him.
He apologized for his action.
I regretted what I did. My Lord, whenever you err or you offend somebody, what you say, you need to say is, I'm sorry, I won't do that again.
This, however, did not sit well with Commissioner Henrietta Mensah Bonsu.
When the state puts a uniform on you,
of
the state, so you should not fly into a temper because somebody has said something nasty to you.
This marked the end of the Commission's public hearing that has seen it sit for 12 days at the castle and take a day's trip to the scene of the violence. Executive Secretary Kofi Abochi says the Commission will produce a credible report.
So we assure you that we're going to carefully, the Commission is going to, the Commissioners are going to carefully review and evaluate every evidence it has received. Every evidence we looked at very carefully, in a balanced way. The testimony that has been presented before the Commission will be carefully reviewed, and the reports that will be presented to the President will reflect in a balanced way the evidence that has been left. So nothing is going to be compromised on, and I can assure anybody who's a skeptic that this Commission is going to deliver reports that reflects the facts and evidence presented before us.
Sources within the Commission say they are hopeful the report will be presented to the President within next week.
Now, Kumasi Kokoro, Bantama Nehene, to which as big as Kumasi is, Bantama is king, is an old tribute to Ashanti Kingdoms, the Ashanti Kingdom's oldest of 77 towns constituting the Kumasi Traditional Council. Well known in the recent past as seen for street parties, Bantama is now considered the biggest electronic appliances hub in the Ashanti region. Now, Ghana Month series, Law FM's Kwesi Deborah explores the significance of this sprawling town in Asante history.
However, history has it, creation and subsequent consecration of the golden stool took place at a place called Pepemso, at a spot within the premises of the present Udara Army Barracks at Bantama. And it was also on that day the name of Bantama came to be. It happened Akwesiba, son of Nanedu Jemfi of Wono, who belonged to the Chafu group of the area, was weeding the path that led to Pepemso and in the process lost his cloth in a stream. After searching for it for a while, he could not trace it, and so people started calling Pepemso and the surrounding area Bantuma, and this later became Bantama. It is the defense arm of Kumasi and the Asanteman Traditional Council, with Militia as the seat of the Golden Stool. Bantama Hene is head of the Asante Army. Powerful Uso Mankwetia VI is current occupant of the Bantama Stool.
Before we came in, Asafo Hene was the head of the army. Now, after this meeting, we call it Padane. Bantama Hene was made to head the Ashanti Army. And from that time to this time, Bantama Hene is known as the Osahene of Otumfo and Asanteman. That is, for every war that we go to, Bantama Hene leads. Presently, when you come to our council, when you come to Kumasi Traditional Council, Bantama Hene sits opposite the Otumfo. He sits opposite the Asante Hene. And then if there's any issue, Bantama Hene talks first. He represents the Conti crown. So he's the Conti Hene, and he speaks first. Apart from that, when Otumfo leaves town, he hands over Kumasi to Bantama Hene. Whatever happens in Bantama is replicated in the other towns.
Bantama is home to the Konfanoche Teaching Hospital, built on the site where the great Asante priest of Konfanoche conjured the golden stool from the skies. The Center for National Culture, which is struggling to recapture its glorious past as home of traditional awareness, is located at Bantama. The busy stretch of Bantama High Street has seen its days. Revelers from other parts of Kumasi were thrown there for fanfare. In recent years, however, all that has been washed away by a sea of electronic goods. Though television sets may have been considered dominant in the past, the age of computers saw almost every shop flooded with a modern gadget, in addition to other imported second-hand goods. Kwesi Edu has been selling computer parts for more than a decade. He is happy the oldest town in Kumasi is a pace-setter in modern trends. Bantama, you will be directed here. Business here is better. Reporting for JoyNews, Kwesi Deborah.
And then that's it. My name is Israelite. Thank you very much for watching. You have a good night.